Alright, another Gear Chronicle themed ride line, this time as Gear Dragons. This time kind of bringing back the time leap mechanic, so let's begin. Here's the starter, Astral Bird Gear Chick. Not mandatory for you to run, but it fits the theme. And into the Grade 1 Wiki Power, Steam Gunner Jummo, which has the skill of Auto when rolled upon by Steam Fighter Gakusho, costs Soul Blast 1, draw 2 cards, reveal a normal unit from hand and put it to the bottom deck. But if you cannot, you discard 2 cards instead. Similar to Liael Morta's ride line where you ride the Grade 2, so you can draw 2 cards and then discard a card, but if you cannot discard the requirement, you discard the 2 cards. Regardless, this is pretty decent for some filtering. And then we go to the Grade 2 with Tanky Power, Steam Fighter Gakusho, which has the skill of Auto when rolled upon by a Grade 3 Gear Dragon. Look at top 5 cards for your deck for up to 1 card. If it's a Grade 3 or less unit, call it to rearguard. If it's not, put it to your hand, and if you did not reveal a card, soul charge 1. Typical ride line that just sets you up, and this one's pretty flexible. With a second skill where count rearguard during your turn if you have at least a Grade 3 Vanguard and a card was bound during the turn, this card gets us 5k. It could be a nice little beater and it might be usable considering that this is Dark State we're talking about that can be using soul. But of course mostly for the ride line skill. And now to the Grade 3 with 13k power, Time Spiral Fist Dragon, Glauwind Dragon, which has the skill of act Vanguard once per turn, cost bind a card from your soul, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and put it back to the bottom of the deck, and then if your opponent's Vanguard is at least Grade 3 plus 5k power in the end turn. Essentially it's a free rewind, which is actually already pretty good, but not only that, it binds from your soul, which spoiler is the deck's playstyle, focusing around the bind zone. In which the second skill is an extension for it, where Auto Vanguard, when this card attacks, costs Counterblast 1, bind 2 of your rearguards, and then choose up to 2 units with the total grades of the bind cards and call them in the same column. And of course, shuffle your deck. Basically, if you bind a total of Grade 4, then you get to call up to 2 units with a total of Grade 4. And spoiler alert, there is a Grade 4 for the deck, so the idea is that you're going to bind a total of Grade 4 to call 1 copy of a Grade 4. But other things you can do is of course call Grade 3 and 1, or a 2 and 2 if you wish, or even a 2 or 1 because you could actually go grade less, or in a way you could just combine a Grade 4 with a Grade 0. But that's basically the idea here. You basically increase your bind zone, which will be explained more with the next card, and giving you an extra attack. In which our main rear guard, which is a Grade 4 Eternal Overlord Colossus, which once again it's Grade 4 with 18k base power, very huge there. Just disappointed that it's not a Gear Dragon considering that this is a Gear Dragon based ride line, but whatever. So first off, it has the count, you cannot ride this card, which of course is always restricted to most of the Grade 4s. In which the second skill is Act Hand. If you have at least a Grade 3 Glauwind Vanguard, costs Energy Blast 3, bind this card to draw 2 cards, which is always very nice to bind something that is a non-shield unit just for more draw power and also increase your bind zone count, and more importantly for its next skills because you want your grades. Because the next skill is Auto. When placed on rearguard by the ability of your Glauwind, this card gets the following abilities based on the total grades of your bind zone of Dark State cards. So unfortunately premium applications don't really work unless you're playing a Dark State deck. So at least 10 grades, Auto rearguard once per turn when this card attacks, plus 20k power until in the end of turn, and then at the end of turn bind this card to draw a card. Nice early game pressure here as a big beater and also bind extension for more draw. At least 20, Auto rearguard once per turn at the end of this card attack, cost Counterblast 1 to stand this unit, making it a 38k attacker for double attack. And at least 30 grades, count rearguard, crit plus 1. The crit is just more of an extra bonus, especially you might not even really hit the 30 grades unless if you're really binding a lot constantly of high grades. But overall, this is actually pretty nice. It's basically a big beater that just literally beats down your opponent. On top of being able to extend your own grade count in the bind zone with more draw power on top of that, making it not really a completely dead card considering that you have to call from deck. And it's also nice that they're remaining Grade 4 units again, but this time it's not on the Vanguard, it's another rearguard Grade 4, which I'm a bit surprised about. And also a bit surprised that they did not do the pseudo stride part. Instead we're just doing it on the rearguard. But overall it is pretty awesome and a little bit unique that they decided to do this. But unfortunately this is the only Grade 4 unit that you can call right now. And now to further support, we start off with Steering Tree Greer Frog, which is a Grade 1 wiki power and its skill is Auto rearguard. When placed from hand and if your Vanguard is at least a Grade 3 Glauwind, choose up to 1 normal unit that is not sentinel from your drop or bind zone and put it to the bottom of the deck. And if it's at least a Grade 3 or greater unit, soul charge 1 and plus 5k power as well. Similar to another support that we got recently for Chronojet, that one also works for Gear Dragons, although arguably that one's still better considering that it could also be put back to deck for some extra ability. This is also a nice budget option for some extra recycling. On top of that, more soul. It's just too bad it has to be placed from hand only. And then we got Steam Gunner Brolama, which is a grade 3 with 13k power and the skill is auto drop. When one of your cards is bound during your main phase, cost energy plus 3 to call this to rearguard, which is always pretty nice for some field recovery obviously, and you're going to be binding your own cards anyway through Glauwind skill. And it also has a second skill will count Rearguard Guardian if your Vanguard is a Gear Dragon, plus 5k power and 5k shield active on your opponent's turn as well. This is just overall pretty nice for some extra recovery, and also it's not restricted to Glauwind. The only thing that is restricted is just getting the extra power and shield, which is only restricted to Gear Dragon, so technically you could play this in Chrono Jet. Not like it's super necessary for Chrono Jet, but it is a nice option. Finally, to our last card, Steam Shooter Amutis, which is a grade 1 with k power and the skill is auto. When a rearguard is put to the bottom of the deck or bound this turn, this card gets grade plus 1 and plus 2k power. And yes, it does activate during the moment that it gets bound or rewind, so it will be counted as a grade 2, which of course will be important for certain skills, in which your second skill is auto rearguard. At the end of battle, this unit boosts while your Vanguard is at least a grade 3 Gear Dragon with Persona Ride ability. This is because otherwise it will be using Chrono Jet. Cost bind this unit to draw a card, which these skills are always pretty nice, especially since binding this will add additional bind count, or in this case a grade count. And being counted as a grade 2 on top of it is pretty nice, especially for Glauwind, because boosting it along with another unit, which can be a grade 2, will make a 2+2, since during the moment this binds, it counts as a grade 2. And finally, next week for next Dokuvan, just more support, this time for Zorga, Artisaria, and Werbel, which I actually play all 3 decks. And so that's it for this new Glauwind ride line, another Gear Dragon based ride line that is Gear Chronicle. What do you guys think of it? I'm already tempted to play the deck since I really love Gear Dragons and Gear Chronicle, especially when it's Bind Zone Focus, because I really liked that playstyle back when it was Chrono Fang Tiger, especially when they started incorporating the grade count back with Gear Glare with Chrono Fang Tiger. So I'm just very happy that they brought that back, even though they didn't really bring back the pseudo stride mechanic, which I did find that a bit interesting back in V. They did actually use the grade 4 mechanic, but putting it as a rear guard. And I really hope they make more of those for this deck, because I really do not want that to be the only big beater. And hopefully they do make an evolved form that is also grade 4, even though it's kind of too early for that right now. But on that, I'm overall excited, and see you next time.